Okay, real TC8 demo.
Okay, so the OpenAlliance has a specification under their working group TC8 that specifies how a ECU has to be tested to pass the automotive Ethernet requirements. This specification has about 600 to 800 tests, and we have a simulation here that shows how the tests can be run using Vehicle Spy. Each of these buttons runs a different test within Vehicle Spy, and there's a process running to emulate the tester and one running to emulate the device under test. When you press one of these buttons, under the tester, it runs this test procedure here. This is taken from the specification. It sends these commands over to the DUT to set it up based on these configuration commands, and then it looks to see that the DUT behaves in the way that's expected in order to pass the test. And then it sets this LED to green for a pass and red for a fail. And at the same time, it also generates an HTML report that you can view that shows the details of the test, the parameters, and the results of the test, including all the activities that happen. So this is not the one that I just did. This is an older one that failed. You can also do other things. For example, there's a button called Fail Force On, and when you do that, it will conduct the test, and then notice over here it says Fail Force Override. So in this particular case, you're not supposed to send an ARP request because you're supposed to find it in the ARP cache. With Force Fail set, it automatically basically forces the test to fail so that you can confirm that the testing process is working properly. There's also other controls. For example, you can turn on and off the HTML generation, and you can turn off the DUT reporting so that when you run the report, it's a little shorter without as much clutter, so it just shows what the tester did. And this is all done using vanilla vSpy and function blocks with application settings.
Can you show the function blocks?
Sure.
This is an example.
So this is the ARP01 function block, and it does a lot of stuff. So it starts off setting things up. It's all done modularly with calls to other function blocks. So it resets the display, it sets up the test parameters, and then it sets up the HTML report, and then it calls this other function block, which actually runs the test. Where is it? And then this basically does the actual test by sending messages over to the DUT. So here, remember I said the first step was a DUT configure command. So here's the steps for that DUT configure. So first we clear out a sideband message, and then we send this sideband message, and then the reporting is done through this function block call. And so when we send this message over, that goes over to the DUT process. The DUT process is over here, and the DUT process basically doesn't have any user side. It's essentially emulating an actual ECU. Yeah. So this is pretending to be an ECU, and it has logic in it to act the way an ECU should work. So for example, if I say transmit ICMP echo request, then it will set up an ICMP message, and then it will check to see if it has the MAC address it needs in the ARP cache. And if it doesn't, then it will send an ARP request. So the idea is to make this as real as possible so that it acts the way an actual ECU would act, and then have the tester configure it so that when it runs the test, it's as if it were actually simulating a real ECU.
Okay, awesome. And your name and position?
My name is Charles Kozierok, and I am a quality testing and documentation person at Traffic Control Systems.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.